Hey there, comic fans! Welcome back to Comic Yahud. Today we're diving into Chapter 2 of Tintin and the Crab with Golden Claws. Let's get started. Tintin, with a hint of frustration, scolds Snowy for not following instructions, holding the bone as evidence. Snowy, unperturbed, follows Tintin with a wagging tail, blissfully unaware of any wrongdoing. Determined to maintain order, Tintin firmly places the bone out of Snowy's reach, admonishing him to behave. With a resolute stride, he resumes his search, Snowy bounding along beside him. Pausing in his search, Tintin leans over a table, confusion etched on his face as he examines it closely. The room is filled with unanswered questions, leaving Tintin pondering the next step. Tintin, clutching the bone, rushes through his apartment, pondering whether he left something important in his study. Snowy follows eagerly, curious about what's happening. Entering the study, Tintin glances around with anticipation, searching for the elusive item he needs. The open window lets in a gentle breeze, but his focus remains unwavering. Frustration mounts as Tintin leans over his desk, realizing that what he's looking for isn't there either. His determination intensifies, knowing he must find it soon. Suddenly, a loud crash startles Tintin, causing him to turn around in shock with the bone still in hand. He stands frozen, trying to comprehend the source of the unexpected noise. Realizing it was merely the wind slamming the door, Tintin lets out a relieved sigh, his heart still racing from the scare. He mutters to himself about how the noise made him jump, clutching the bone as he regains his composure. With his heart rate steadying, Tintin recalls the bit of paper he had been analyzing earlier. Intrigued by the memory, he heads purposefully towards the bookshelf, eager to revisit the mysterious document. Tintin bursts through the door, exclaiming that the wind must have blown the paper away the first time he entered. Snowy, ever curious, watches as Tintin hurriedly explains his train of thought, clutching the bone tightly. Spotting something beneath the couch, Tintin triumphantly announces he's found the answer. Snowy sniffs around excitedly, sensing Tintin's relief and success. With the elusive paper finally in hand, Tintin stands up, eager to examine its contents. His face lights up with anticipation as he prepares to unravel its secrets. Tintin frantically looks over the table, perplexed at the disappearance of his magnifying glass. He mutters to himself in disbelief, convinced he had placed it down just moments ago. As Tintin questions the situation, Snowy appears holding the magnifying glass in his mouth. Tintin looks at him with a puzzled expression, wondering how Snowy managed to find it. Taking the magnifying glass from Snowy, Tintin examines the paper intently, eager to uncover its secrets. Snowy watches with interest, sensing the importance of the moment. Tintin meticulously studies the paper, deciphering each letter with a pencil, muttering as he recognizes a K, an A, and possibly an R. His focus sharpens as he assures himself that he's close to a breakthrough. Triumphantly, the word Karaboudjan emerges clearly on the paper, confirming his suspicions. Tintin's eyes widen with realization as he considers the significance of the name. Reflecting on the name, Tintin recalls its Armenian roots but feels momentarily puzzled about its relevance. He muses aloud, acknowledging that knowing it's Armenian doesn't quite solve his dilemma. Suddenly, Tintin hears a cry for help carried by the wind through the window, the words, "Help! Help!" etched starkly against the glass. He immediately turns, heart racing, as the urgency of the situation grips him. Bolting from his chair, Tintin rushes towards the source, his mind racing with questions about what might be happening outside. He mutters, "What's going on?" as he dashes out of the room, determination fueling his every step. Peering out of the window, Tintin sees a commotion below. A blue car speeds away as two men wave their arms frantically. Leaning precariously out, he tries to catch a glimpse of the fleeing vehicle, eager to comprehend the unfolding chaos. Tintin recognizes the voice of his landlady and decides he must immediately find out what has happened. His expression is one of concern as he braces himself for action, determined to address the situation. Rushing down the stairs, Tintin maintains a swift pace, his heart pounding with worry. Each step brings him closer to the source of the distress, his mind racing with possibilities. Reaching the bottom, Tintin finds his landlady anxiously explaining that a man with a letter for him was interrupted. The mention of a car stopping abruptly heightens Tintin's concern, as he listens intently to unravel what's occurred. Tintin listens as his landlady recounts the terrifying encounter with gangsters who attacked a Japanese gentleman, throwing him into a car along with a letter meant for Tintin. Her hands tremble as she describes the revolver, emphasizing the danger they all faced, leaving Tintin deeply concerned and determined to act. As Tintin ascends the stairs, he mentally pieces together the puzzling elements of the case: a tin, a drowned man, counterfeit coins, Karaboudjan, and now a kidnapping involving a Japanese man and a letter. The complexity of the situation weighs on him, yet he feels compelled to solve the mystery before him. The following morning, the phone rings loudly, jolting Tintin awake as he answers eagerly to hear news of the case. His expression shifts from curiosity to alarm as the voice on the other end delivers unexpected information. Tintin listens intently as Thompson on the other end of the line shares crucial details about the drowned man, Herbert Dawes, a sailor from the merchant ship Karaboudjan. The mention of the ship's name sends a jolt through Tintin, connecting yet another piece of the complex puzzle. Tintin's mind races as he repeats the name, Karaboudjan, with urgency, realizing its significance to his investigation. The connection ignites a sense of action within him, prompting him to make a quick decision. Determined to uncover the truth, Tintin dashes out with Snowy by his side, heading to the docks with a sense of purpose. The urgency of the situation propels them forward, eager to confront the mysteries aboard the ship. Tintin strides purposefully along the bustling dock, Snowy trotting beside him, as the looming shipyards come into view. His eyes dart around, taking in the towering cranes and stacks of goods, each step bringing him closer to his destination. As Tintin approaches, the name, Karaboudjan, emblazoned on the ship's hull fills his vision, solidifying his resolve to investigate. The massive vessel looms ahead, its presence both daunting and inviting as Tintin and Snowy draw nearer. Standing before the ship, Tintin pauses, gazing up at the imposing structure with a mix of determination and curiosity. The water laps gently against the dock, a quiet backdrop to his racing thoughts as he contemplates his next move. Tintin stands on the dock, looking up at the sky filled with seagulls, exclaiming at the sheer number of them. The sight momentarily distracts him from his mission, as he marvels at the birds' graceful flight. Suddenly, his attention is snapped back to reality as he turns, startled by a sudden noise nearby. Snowy barks excitedly, sensing something amiss, as Tintin reacts with surprise and alertness. A crate unexpectedly crashes open, spilling its contents in front of Tintin, causing him to stumble backward in shock. The debris scatters around them, adding a new element of chaos to the scene. From the ship's deck, a captain curses his bad luck as he peers out, realizing they missed their chance to stop Tintin. The frustration on his face is evident, as he clenches his fist, plotting his next move. Back on the dock, Tintin wipes his brow, grateful that his fascination with the seagulls inadvertently saved him from being crushed by the crate. As he speaks to Snowy, workers nearby wave their arms, still shocked by the near accident. Tintin is approached by Thompson and Thompson, who inquire about the commotion, as one of the workers explains that a chain broke. Tintin expresses his relief at narrowly escaping harm and questions the detective's presence, curious about their involvement. Tintin eagerly asks Thompson and Thompson if he can join them on the Karaboudjan to investigate the mysterious drowning. The detectives agree, granting Tintin a perfect opportunity to explore the ship further. As they make their way up the gangplank, Tintin inquires about the length of their visit. Thompson assures him it will be brief, only about half an hour, which comforts Tintin as he plans his exploration. Inside the ship, Captain Allen spots Tintin boarding with the detectives and quickly devises a plan to prevent him from leaving. He instructs an accomplice to keep an eye on Tintin, emphasizing the need to impede his return to shore. Tintin, with a determined expression, informs Thompson and Thompson that he will wait for them on the ship in half an hour, while Snowy stands attentively by his side. The detectives agree, their faces reflecting a mixture of curiosity and duty as they prepare to dive deeper into the mysterious situation. Thompson and Thompson greet Allen with a formal inquiry about the unfortunate sailor, their voices filled with concern. Allen, maintaining a professional demeanor, invites them to discuss the matter in his cabin, offering a more private setting for their conversation. As Allen leads the way, Thompson and Thompson follow him closely, their expressions serious and focused on uncovering the truth behind the sailor's fate. The trio walks purposefully through the ship, each step echoing with the weight of their mission. Inside the ship's narrow corridors, Allen warns Thompson to watch his step, but the detective confidently brushes off the advice. His nonchalance is quickly met with surprise as he stumbles forward, barely catching himself against the wall. As Allen continues to caution about the low doorframe, Thompson's enthusiasm leads him to comically bump his head. The impact leaves him momentarily dazed, while Allen smirks at his blunder. Meanwhile, on the deck above, Tintin wanders, unaware of the eyes watching him from the shadows. The figure lurks, plotting silently as Tintin looks around, contemplating his next move. Tintin strides confidently down the corridor, unaware of the danger lurking behind him as a sailor emerges with a malicious intent. The sailor grips a baton tightly, ready to strike. In a swift and unexpected motion, the sailor swings the baton, catching Tintin off guard and sending stars spinning around his head. Meanwhile, in Allen's cabin, Thompson and Thompson engage in a serious discussion with Allen about the sailor's unfortunate demise. The detectives share their findings, emphasizing the sailor's drunken state on the night of his death, while Allen listens intently, his expression unreadable. A sailor informs Allen that he has completed his task, giving a thumbs up to emphasize his accomplishment. Allen, sitting casually, acknowledges with a nod, indicating he will inspect the work soon. Thompson and Thompson politely mention their need to leave, worried they've taken up too much of Allen's time. Allen reassures them, expressing his pleasure in assisting, as he stands by the table with a friendly demeanor. As Allen, Thompson, and Thompson exit, they humorously comment on the low doorframe that had caused earlier mishaps. Rubbing their heads, the detectives chuckle over the door's height, their previous stumbles still fresh in their minds. A sailor informs Thompson and Thompson that Tintin has already left, catching them off guard with the realization that they had completely forgotten about him. They express their surprise, acknowledging their oversight with a hint of embarrassment. As they prepare to disembark, the sailor reminds them to mind their step, while Thompson and Thompson bid their farewells with cheerful waves. Their joviality contrasts with the earlier shock of Tintin's departure. Despite the warning, Thompson and Thompson comically trip and tumble down the gangplank, landing in a heap on the ground. Their hats and canes scatter, and they sit dazed as a figure in the background looks on with amusement. Snowy dashes across the deck, his mind racing with concern as he searches for Tintin, his small paws skidding on the wooden planks. The loyal terrier wonders aloud what could have possibly happened to his friend, ears twitching with anxiety. Meanwhile, in the dimly lit hold, Tintin finds himself bound to a metal bench, frustration etched on his face. He mutters angrily about being captured by brutes and senses someone approaching as he strains against his restraints. Two figures enter, standing over Tintin with smug expressions as he questions the length of his predicament. One of them is Alan, with a mocking tone, replies ambiguously, leaving Tintin to ponder his uncertain fate. And that wraps up this chapter. If you enjoyed the story, head to the next part and be sure to like and subscribe for more adventures on Comic Yahad.